and stay amongst the elite group.
Attitude. You're watching Fox Sports New York.
We welcome you back to Harrah's Hotel and Casino. We are here in Kansas City, Missouri, and we come now to our main event. It's in the heavyweight division. Ezra Sellers getting it on with Alex Stewart, and we hope that this fight is every bit as entertaining as the one that we saw just a couple of moments ago. So Ezra Sellers now, he's the guy that's got the hoopla, got everything going for him here, and now if it's not just all smoke, we'll see what Ezra brings to the ring and brings to the dance. And Ezra is going to suck up his moment in the sun here, isn't he?
Well, some guys, I guess, can do it with smoke and mirrors, but when you're facing a quality opponent in the ring, you can't always do that. Oh, I didn't know Ezra was a dancer.
Oh, yes. Got those epaulets going.
Now, Ezra Sellers, he's 30 years old, and his record is still only 15-2, Barry, at the age of 30. He says that he hadn't fought often during his career of 9 years because he felt he was plagued with bad management.
Yeah, and we've heard that story many, many times in boxing, and sometimes it actually does hold true. This is another one of the good guys, though. Both these guys are. I mean, we thoroughly enjoy visiting with both Ezra Sellers and the man you're about to see who will make his way to the ring. He, of course, is Alex Stewart, and this is a guy who has danced at the biggest dances.
Yep, as we wait, there's Alex, followed by Kevin Rooney, who, of course, was a pretty good fighter in his own right and then made a real mark as the trainer of Mike Tyson. Alex Stewart, been in with the best. His best fights in defeat have come against George Foreman, who really it seemed like he had defeated over the course of 12 rounds, and but lost a very close decision to Foreman. And for his first fight with Evander Holyfield, look at these fireworks going off. Quite an atmosphere here tonight at Harrah's in North Kansas City.
Yeah, it really is. Really a nice place to be. Incidentally, we should point out it's getting very chilly here. So we come to the main event. Let's get to it as we take it to Thomas Triber.
From Harrah's Hotel and Casino, America presents, and the undisputed, undefeated king of beers, Budweiser, proudly present to you our featured bout. It is sanctioned by the Missouri Office of Athletics. The matchmaker is Tom Brown, and the 3 judges assigned scoring on a 10-point must system are Gary Merritt, Bill Page, and Crystal Jimerson. When the bell rings, the referee in charge of the action will be Ross Strada. And now, North Kansas City, Missouri, it's time for our main event. 10 rounds of boxing in the heavyweight division. Introducing to you first, fighting to my left out of the red corner, he's wearing red trunks with white trim and weighed in at 215 pounds. Hailing from Pensacola, Florida, he has a professional record of 15 wins, 2 losses, with 14 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the former WBU Super Cruiserweight Champion of the World, Ezra Sellers. And his opponent, fighting directly across from him out of the blue corner. Tonight, he's wearing black trunks with gold trim and weighed in at 238 pounds. Coming to us from Safety Harbor, Florida, he has a professional record of 42 wins, 8 losses, with 39 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Alex the Destroyer Stewart.
All right, gentlemen, you've already received your instructions. I want a clean fight, obey my command at all times. Are there any questions? Touch them up.
Here's the Budweiser tail of the tape. As you can see, Alex Stewart, 5 years older than Ezra Sellers and some 23 pounds heavier than Ezra Sellers. Those are the 2 big differences. Of course, the experience factor for Alex Stewart. But the question is, what has Alex Stewart got left, and what has Ezra Sellers got?
Well, Alex Stewart fought recently, and we saw it here on Fight Time on Fox as he fought Phil Jackson, and that was a very interesting fight. He fought down in Miami and gave a very good account of himself, but what happened was he was knocked down twice in the 4th round, and that ended up costing him the decision, as well as having a point taken away. He rallied late and lost by only 1 point on all 3 judges' scorecards.
Well, Alex Stewart comes in here stone cold, though. You can see it. It's very cool. The temperatures, I'm sure, have gotten down into the 40s here. Situations like that, oftentimes you'll see flash knockdowns in a fight like this, and so Stewart's going to have to work his way into getting warmed up.
Alex Stewart was a skyrocket at the beginning of his career, won his first 24 fights all by knockout, and he got caught cold. This is just what you're talking about, the danger of not having a sweat worked up, of not warming your body up before a fight. You can get caught cold and you can get finished off in real quick fashion.
And this is the kind of weather where it's going to take a little bit of time to get warm. It's certainly warmer under the lights than we are sitting here at ringside, but nonetheless, it's a chilly evening. Good left hand by Sellers. Stewart is really down to that last hurrah time. He's a very bright guy. I'm sure he's a guy who will know when it's time to say that's enough. He doesn't feel that it is that time yet. Maybe after tonight, the boxing public may agree with him. This guy had started as a rugby player.
Yeah, he grew up in England and began playing rugby there, and then went to Jamaica at the age of 16 and became a member of the Jamaican national team in rugby.
I thought it was interesting. We asked him, what about cricket? Did you play cricket? He said, no. He said, you kidding? That ball is hard. You get hurt with that ball. And now what's he doing? Good left hand again by Sellers, knocking Stewart back on his heels.
I think Ezra Sellers might have been better served if he'd have gone right out on the attack in this fight.
I agree with you.
He's kind of letting Stewart get into the fight and get warm. And he might have jumped right on him, and it might have really served to his advantage. But Ezra's a little wary of Alex here in the early going, as you see.
Well, Alex Stewart's got some pop. He's gotten a lot of guys out of there, and a lot of guys who were further along in their careers than Ezra Sellers. Now the question, of course, is what side of the mountain is Alex Stewart on? He is in much better shape than the last time I saw him, anyway, in Baton Rouge. Now, you saw him afterward in Miami against Phil Jackson. Fight that he lost, but at least he gave himself the best chance to win.
He came in at 232 in that fight, which was 17 pounds less than the fight that you saw him in, Barry. And actually, he felt a little weak in that fight, so he's just a little bit heavier here at 238 for this bout this evening.
Quick left hand again by Sellers. So Sellers with a few good left hands in his first round. Probably enough to win the round. We talked about Alex Stewart being in against the very best that the sport of boxing has to offer, and he's not only been in against them, he's had his moments against all of them.
Yeah, he hasn't been able to get that win. Now, the first time that he fought Evander Holyfield was a very good fight for him. He actually had stunned Holyfield a couple of times in the 5th and 6th round, but ended up losing. That was his first loss of his career. He was overwhelmed by Tyson. He had some real moments against Michael Moore, or rocked Moore during the course of that bout. Then he lost that split decision to George Foreman, which was very tough because he was down twice in the 2nd round. It appeared as though he was almost out, and he rallied and he really came on in that fight with George Foreman and appeared to pull out the decision. He just turned Foreman's face into some grotesque gargoyle, but he did not get the decision. So this guy's still waiting for a break. And with all those guys being heavyweight champions that he fought, Barry, he never has actually fought for the championship. That was all at a time when all of those guys were not holding the title.
He's still very optimistic that his chance will come. And of course, he needs to get by Ezra Sellers tonight in order to make that a feasibility. They're working on what might have been a little nick up above the eye between rounds. I didn't see any blood, but
Sellers, son of a minister, grew up in Washington, D.C. First got involved in boxing there, but really didn't do well until he went down to North Carolina, and all of a sudden he found himself sparring with some real quality fighters.
Oliver McCall to be one, Burt Cooper,
Tim Witherspoon. In fact, he sparred with Tim Witherspoon to get ready for this fight. Witherspoon had to get ready for his own match against Andrew Golota. Stewart getting home with some shots really for the first time in the fight. Sellers is fairly quick-handed. You'd like to see him be a little busier in that.
Sellers feels that the only downside of his future is the fact that he's a little lighter than most of the top-notch heavyweights at around 215.
Although he looks bigger, doesn't he? Yeah, I think he's grown into the division pretty nice. He doesn't look real soft like some of these blown-up light heavyweights or cruiserweights.
Oh, he looks fit, to be sure.
There's those quick hands, Barry. See, he's really should let his hands fly some. Sellers really punches very quick, and I think Stewart might have some difficulty with that quickness tonight if Sellers throws some punches.
Now, the opponent tonight was supposed to be Phil Jackson, but Jackson, there's a good right hand, and down goes Sellers. Now, Sellers ran into trouble against Marion Wilson as he was caught flush. He appears to be all right, but let's see how Stewart plays this. He's going to take a long look into the eyes of Ezra Sellers.
And that was a terrific shot by Stewart. We said he's always been known as a puncher. He's had big moments against great fighters.
Right hand by Sellers, and down goes Stewart. Stewart got careless.
We may have to call this a 10-10 round.
Yes, there you go. I'm not doing it again. Somebody else go down. I think Stewart just got careless. I think a look at Sellers and you knew he wasn't hurt. And I think it was wishful thinking on the part of Stewart. Another good right hand by Sellers. Stewart down again. And this time he may not make it.
He needs the ropes to help him get up.
And he's up, but he's wobbly. And a good long look here. He is gets it through the round somehow.
3 knockdowns in the second round, and he's got to get over to Kevin Rooney and quick. He is stumbling back to his corner.
Well, wasn't that something?
Now, he appeared to have the fight almost won with that big shot. It drove Sellers down, but you were right to warn everybody that you'd seen Sellers go down before and get up and have the resourcefulness to get himself right back into a fight.
I think that was a flash knockdown. I don't really think Sellers was hurt by that. And again, you can look into a fighter's eyes generally and know if he's really hurt, or look at his legs, and I didn't see that in Sellers.
Smart dude.
Let's take another look. Got a lot to talk about here.
All right, but very surprised. It comes like a flash out of nowhere. There's a left, a follow-up right hand, and the legs just collapse underneath. Ezra Sellers, down he goes. Sellers was able to score 2 knockdowns himself. This was the second one. Stewart was already hurt and headed down.
Well, quite a start to this fight. And now Sellers is letting the hands go. He figures he's got his man beat. I'm not sure.
Don't count out that power of Stewart.
This is Stewart again. Now Sellers with a right hand drives Stewart off of him.
I tell you, Alex Stewart is such a warrior, Barry. And he's been in trouble. You know, he was down twice against Foreman and got up. Down in those other fights and fought back. He really tries hard every fight.
Well, this is going to be the last guy standing.
Well, you rarely get these kind of fights, but when you do, you understand why people love heavyweights.
Absolutely. There's a double right hand, a triple right hand, huge punch. And Stewart never did go down, and there is no standing 8 count.
But he was up against the ropes, and the referee apparently feels that with his back against the ropes that he would have gone down had the ropes not held him up, so he can call that a knockdown.
And there is a serious swelling around the left eye of Stewart now. And now I think Stewart is hurt.
Well, Sellers using that shoulder.
Stewart is going to be brought to the ring doctor here. Stewart is hurt. There's no question about this.
I think it's because of that eye, which you said was swelling at a very rapid rate all of a sudden.
And a big knot on the side of his head, actually. It's up around the temple. And down goes Sellers. How do you like this time he's hurt.
He is out of it, Barry.
He is completely gone. And now Stewart should jump on him. There's a huge knot on Stewart's temples, but he can still get Sellers out of here if he jumps quickly. There's a left hand. Sellers can't extricate himself from the corner. Down he goes again. What a fight.
I believe, if I haven't lost count, that's 5 knockdowns in the fight.
And Sellers, as my pal Ray Leonard would say, is on Queer Street. And Stewart's not in great shape himself. Sellers is trying to stay away. He's got no legs at all. The 3 knockdown rule will be in effect, so if Stewart could get Sellers down one more time. Still got a ways to go, 30 seconds.
Stewart could go too, though. If Sellers
Exactly.
That's the right shot.
Exactly. Sellers has no legs. I mean, there's nothing that's going to keep him up. And he is headed for the ropes. That's it. It's over. Oh, my, what a fight.
I think that may be the fight of our entire series that we've had here at Fight Time on Fox. That is really pulling one out of the fire.
Unbelievable. And Stewart was gone, shot, had no legs. I'm not even sure what the punch was that put him down the first time. There's a huge swelling alongside his. You can see that knot on the side of his face is tremendous. Well, you talked about what a tough veteran Alex Stewart was, and you said it, pal.
There's just no quit in this guy, Alex Stewart. At his worst moments, he still wants to fight.
Well, that's a tremendous, gutsy victory for Alex Stewart. We'll make it official. We'll talk to him. We'll look at it all again. What a night. Well, it's been quite an evening, I'll say that. We had a terrific first fight, and now this one, 7 knockdowns. Let's make it official with Thomas Driver.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the official time, 2 minutes, 43 seconds of the 3rd round. Referee in charge, Ross Strada, stops the bout as a result of the 3 knockdown rule being in effect, with your winner by technical knockout, Alex the Destroyer Stewart.
Well, he gutsed out that victory. Rich Murata was saying what a tough guy he is, and how there's no dog in this guy.
And ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for his opponent.
He came back and showed
Ezra
that this dog can hunt. And Alex Stewart leading the applause for Ezra Sellers. A tremendous gutsy win for him. And Rich Murata, you're a great historian in this sport, and 4 words come to mind, and I know you're going to remember them all. Archie Moore, Yvonne Durrell.
Yeah, there are just a couple. I was thinking I haven't seen anything maybe in the heavyweight division, Barry, that quite rivaled this, with the exception of maybe George Foreman and Ron Lyle.
Yeah.
Alex, I don't know how you did it, but you somehow pulled it out. From what you can remember, what happened in there?
Let's put it this way. First of all, I want to give thanks to God, and I want to hope all the people in Kansas City is feeling better from the flash flood. My heart goes out to everybody. The first thing about it, I also say hi to Nadia, who helped me in the gym when I trained. This guy's a tough guy. He came out, he prepared. He had 6 weeks to train. I'm not making no excuses. He was ready for tonight.
Yeah, but you looked out of it in the 2nd round when you were knocked down a couple of times. I mean, did you feel like it was getting away from you?
You know that's me. I'm always out of it. They always knocking me down. They always say I'm out of it.
Well, let's take a look at some of the action. Go ahead and explain what's happening here.
There's a jab. That jab hurt him. I know I had a good jab. And he left to open up. It's a straight jab. Boom, right there. Right on the chin. Put him down. And I mean, that's the only way, because he had a lot of savvy. He was boxing me. He was beating the hell out of me. Take nothing away from him. He was hitting me some tremendous shot. And I felt like I had to do what I had to do. Here I had him against the rope, but I couldn't let him back off the hook, because he was hitting me with uppercuts. And I was like, okay, time to put him away. And that's what happened.
The referee took you over to have your eye looked at, I believe, and the side of your head where you've got that knot. Yeah, and then with the very next punch, you knocked him down. Did you feel like you had to all of a sudden just throw everything you had?
Oh, definitely. Was this guy? He's dangerous. I mean, southpaw, not my favorite. I think you should dump him in the sea. I don't want no southpaws. Dump them all in the sea, please.
Well, listen, it's a big win for you tonight, a tremendous fight for you tonight. You're with your new trainer, Kevin Rooney, and
Kevin's great.
Listen, you've had a lot of tough times in the ring, but you finally got rewarded with a W, and I know that's got to feel great.
Oh, especially 40th knockout, that really helped me a lot. I mean, I needed this a lot. I mean,
a little bit.
I'm learning a new system. He's great. I mean, everybody who's helped me out for this fight, I thank them from the bottom of my heart, especially Kevin. Everybody took time with me. I mean, success for me wasn't that I was dealt a good hand, but that I played good, with a poor hand real good. And this was a poor hand, and I played good at it.
All right, well put. Well, there's a happy winner. I tell you, Barry, that was something else here tonight.
Just terrific. Kevin Rooney saying, you see, he moved his head. That's the good news. The bad news was every time he moved it, there was a fist there. But he came back, and he sucked it up. And you could tell why this guy is what he is. Not to mention, one of the good guys in the sport of